All right, so let's get ready for another deep dive. Today, we're all about basketball,
Oh, yeah.
and specifically, shooting.
Definitely a popular topic.
You guys wanted this one. You shared basketball shooting coach. Basketball, it's all about the shot with us.
And what a title, right?
It really is. And I got to say, this book is full of some interesting stuff.
Yeah, it really challenges a lot of the common wisdom about shooting.
You know what I mean? Like those old sayings you always hear, like some players are just natural shooters.
Right, right. Or you have to square up perfectly to the basket every time.
Exactly. This book throws all that out the window.
It really does, and that's one of the things I found so fascinating about it.
It focuses so much on the mental side of shooting,
You know, more than just the mechanics.
like how to think about shooting instead of just how to do it.
Right, because when you're in the game, you can't be overthinking every little movement.
You've got the crowd, the pressure, the defense, all these distractions.
And if you're trying to consciously control everything, you're going to get all messed up.
You'll lose that flow.
Exactly, you won't be able to react instinctively.
So this book offers this really interesting solution.
It's called the opposite side layup,
And I know it sounds super basic,
something you learn in grade school.
but the author claims it's the foundation for developing a really natural shot.
Like a shot that just comes automatically.
So how does it work?
Well, basically, you shoot layups on the opposite side of your dominant hand.
So if you're right-handed, you'd be shooting with your left.
Exactly, and what this does is it forces you to use proper mechanics without even thinking about it.
Your elbow tucks in your hand lines up correctly.
It's like a hack for your brain and body.
I love that, a hack for your brain and body.
Because you're training yourself to shoot correctly without having to overthink it.
And the book emphasizes doing a lot of repetitions
Like 50 opposite side layups in a row.
from each of 3 specific positions, moving further away from the basket each time.
It's all about building that muscle memory.
So you're basically rewiring your brain.
Yeah. And your body to shoot correctly without having to consciously think about it.
And that's what I think is so revolutionary about this book.
It's like it's giving you permission to find what works for you.
And to not worry so much about those traditional ideas of perfect form.
Because sometimes even awkward-looking shots can be effective.
As long as you've trained your body to make them consistently.
Exactly. It's all about finding your own rhythm and flow.
And this goes back to that myth we talked about earlier about some people being natural shooters.
The author completely debunks that.
He says anyone can shoot 50% or better.
It's all about shot selection timing, understanding your strengths and weaknesses.
So if you ever felt discouraged because your shot wasn't falling,
Yeah. This book offers a lot of hope.
it's not about some innate talent you're born with,
It's about training your mind and body to work together.
which brings us to one of the coolest parts of the book, in my opinion.
The mental key.
And this is where the visualization stuff comes in.
Right. And it's not just any visualization, it's very specific.
It focuses on one tiny detail, the metal hook on the far side of the rim.
He calls it the magnified hook visualization.
It's like you're looking at that hook through a magnifying glass.
And that's your target.
So you're not focusing on the whole basket or the backboard,
You're just zeroing in on that one little detail.
which sounds crazy, right?
It does sound a little out there at first.
But the author has a really compelling explanation for why it works.
It's all about how the brain processes visual information.
You know how they say visualization can actually activate the same neural pathways as physically doing something,
Yeah, like you're tricking your brain into thinking you're actually shooting the ball.
which can improve your accuracy and consistency
Exactly, and the magnified hook takes that to a whole other level.
because it focuses your attention so intensely
It's like creating a laser beam of focus.
that eliminates all the distractions and just guides your shot straight to the target.
And this ties back to what we were talking about earlier about getting out of your head and shooting instinctively.
By visualizing that magnified hook, you're essentially bypassing all that conscious thought.
And tapping into that subconscious level where those automatic movements reside.
So it's like you're training your mind to see the shot before it even happens.
And your body just follows suit.
The author claims that this technique can help you access that in the zone, feeling more consistently.
Where everything just flows effortlessly.
And the more you practice this visualization, the stronger that connection becomes.
It becomes almost like a reflex.
And the really cool thing is that this magnified hook technique can be applied to all kinds of shots.
From free throws to jump shots.
It's about developing that mental clarity and focus that translates to every part of your game.
So it's not just about shooting technique.
It's about training your mind to be more present, more focused, more aware.
And that can benefit you in all aspects of basketball and even life in general.
Okay, so we've got this opposite side layup drill for building the physical foundation.
And the magnified hook visualization for the mental side.
They seem to work together almost like two sides of the same coin.
You need both to really master the art of shooting.
And the book doesn't stop there.
Oh, no, there's so much more.
He dives into all kinds of other shooting techniques.
From bank shots to pull-up jumpers to hook shots.
It's like a treasure chest of basketball wisdom.
And it's all geared towards helping you unlock your full potential as a shooter.
So are you ready to open that treasure chest and explore some of these other techniques?
I'm definitely ready. Let's do it.
Awesome. I think you'll be surprised at what we find.
I have a feeling I will be.
Okay, let's take a quick break and then we'll dive into some of these other fascinating techniques.
Sounds good. So let's talk bank shots.
Bank shots.
Okay. I know some players think they're like a last resort or something,
Right.
but this book argues that they can be a really effective weapon.
Especially in high-pressure situations.
Exactly. Because when you use the backboard correctly, you're actually increasing your target area.
That's interesting. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah, think about it. You're not just aiming for the hoop. You've got that whole square on the backboard to work with.
So it's like you have a bigger margin for error.
Right. And the author even gives you tips on how to visualize those bank shots.
It's not just about hitting the backboard anywhere.
You have to see the angle, the trajectory, and picture that ball bouncing off the sweet spot and dropping right through the net.
So it's almost like you're playing pool.
Exactly, calculating those angles and using the backboard to your advantage.
Okay, I'm starting to see the appeal of bank shots now.
And speaking of using angles and momentum, let's talk about pull-up jumpers.
Pull-up jumpers, now those are tough.
They are, but they can be a game changer if you master them.
So what's the key?
It's all about combining speed, power, and precision.
Easier said than done.
I know, but think about it. You're driving towards the basket, forcing the defense to react, and then boom, you pull up for that smooth jumper.
So you're using their momentum against them.
Exactly, and the author really emphasizes the importance of that jump stop.
That moment when you plant your feet and explode upward.
Right, you're gathering all your energy and using that momentum to propel the ball towards the hoop.
It's like a spring loading up and releasing.
That's a great analogy, and the author even has this funny little trick.
What's that?
He says after you make the shot, fake a sprint back on defense.
Like you're already thinking about the next play.
Yeah, just to mess with your opponent's head.
I love that it's all about the mental game.
Right, those little details can really give you an edge.
Okay, so we've covered bank shots, pull-up jumpers. What else is in this treasure chest of shooting techniques?
Well, let's move on to a shot that some players might see as a bit old-fashioned.
You mean the hook shot?
Exactly, the hook shot.
Yeah.
But don't underestimate its power.
Yeah, it's a classic for a reason.
It can be incredibly effective, especially when you're close to the basket.
And I imagine it's pretty hard to block.
It is. And just like with bank shots, the author recommends using the backboard.
So you're not just throwing it up there blindly.
No, you're using the backboard to your advantage, and he even provides a progression for practicing hook shots.
Starting with those layup hooks right under the basket.
Right, and then gradually moving further out.
So you're breaking down the movement into smaller steps.
Exactly, and building that muscle memory. And once you've got the basic hook shot down, you can add the jump hook to your repertoire.
Which is even harder to defend.
It is. It's like a secret weapon you can use in the paint.
I like it, a secret weapon. Okay, so we've got bank shots, pull-up jumpers, hook shots. Are we missing anything?
Well, we can't talk about shooting without mentioning the dunk.
The dunk, the ultimate basketball power move.
It's a statement. It's a way to electrify the crowd and demoralize your opponents.
And while not everyone can dunk,
True.
the author still provides some valuable insights into the mechanics and the mindset of this iconic shot.
He talks about the importance of leaping off both feet, using either hand, developing that finger roll technique for those close-range dunks.
And he also emphasizes safety.
Of course, dunking can be risky if you're not careful.
So it's important to practice proper technique and landing.
To avoid injuries, and even if you can't quite reach the rim yet.
Yeah, for us shorter folks.
He suggests practicing jump stops and other explosive movements.
To build that power and coordination.
Exactly, and who knows, maybe one day you'll surprise yourself and throw one down.
You never know. All right, so we've covered some pretty advanced shooting techniques.
But there's one more area we need to talk about.
And that is?
Developing your non-dominant hand.
Oh yeah, that's something a lot of players neglect.
They do, but this book really stresses its importance.
Because it's not just about being ambidextrous.
It's about becoming a more well-rounded and unpredictable player.
So you're not just a one-trick pony.
Exactly. Think about it. If you can shoot and dribble with both hands, you're twice as dangerous.
You can drive to the basket on either side, finish with either hand.
You keep the defense constantly guessing,
And the author gives you some really practical drills for developing your non-dominant hand.
starting with those basic layups
Right.
and gradually progressing to more complex movements.
It's like anything else, you have to start with the fundamentals.
And he even suggests incorporating something a little unusual into your practice routine:
Oh, what's that?
juggling.
Juggling for basketball.
I know it sounds strange, but trust me, it's an amazing way to improve hand-eye coordination, ambidexterity, even peripheral vision.
So it's not just about those fancy tricks you see at the circus.
No, it's about building those fundamental skills that translate directly to the court.
Okay, I'm sold. I'm going to start juggling.
I think you'll be surprised at how much it helps.
So we've covered a lot of ground here, from bank shots and pull-up jumpers to hook shots and dunks and even juggling.
And through it all, we've seen how the mental game plays such a crucial role in shooting success.
It's about visualization focus, trusting your instincts.
And the more you practice these techniques, the more they become second nature.
So it's not just about physical skill.
It's about training your mind as well.
But the author doesn't stop there. He goes on to explore another level of basketball mastery.
A skill that separates the good players from the great ones.
You've got me intrigued. What is this mysterious skill?
It's called court vision, and it's the ability to see the entire court, anticipate plays, and make decisions in a split second.
Court vision, huh?
Yeah,
Sounds kind of mystical.
it does, doesn't it?
Like you said, it's that ability to see the whole court.
Anticipate plays, make decisions in a split second.
So are you born with that, or can you actually learn it?
Well, the book actually has some exercises for that,
Really?
and some of them are pretty surprising.
Okay. I'm intrigued.
Remember we talked about juggling for hand-eye coordination?
Yeah.
Well, turns out it's also great for developing peripheral vision.
No way!
Seriously, when you're juggling, you're forced to expand your field of vision, right?
Yeah, you gotta keep track of all those balls.
And that same skill applies to basketball.
So you're more aware of your teammates,
Yeah.
your opponents.
Open spaces, everything.
I never would have thought of that.
And there's another exercise.
Okay, hit me with
Dribble 2 basketballs at the same time.
2 basketballs at the same time.
Whoa. Yeah, and while you're dribbling, rotate your head from side to side.
Oh man, that sounds tough.
It is. But the goal is to train your eyes to stay focused straight ahead while your peripheral vision is taking in the whole court.
So you're creating like a panoramic view in your mind.
Exactly. And it's not easy, but it's definitely worth practicing.
I can see that. All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
From basic layups to advanced techniques like court vision.
And through it all, we've seen how important the mental game is.
Visualization focus. Trusting your instincts.
It's all connected.
And the more you practice these things, the better you'll become.
Not just as a shooter, but as an all-around player.
It's like the author says, basketball is all about the shot.
But it's also about so much more than that.
It's about understanding the game on a deeper level.
And using your mind and body together to achieve your full potential.
I think that's a great place to wrap things up.
I agree.
So for anyone listening out there, if you want to take your game to the next level,
Definitely check out Basketball Shooting Coach. Basketball, it's all about the shot.
it's full of amazing insights and practical techniques.
And it might just change the way you think about basketball forever.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll see you next time.
See ya.